Let's talk about a problem that pretty much every company faces, even the most successful ones. And that's the huge, often frustrating gap between having a brilliant strategy on paper and actually making it happen day to day. Today, we're going to dive deep into something called BSC Focusplus, which is a modern methodology designed to do one thing: bridge that gap and get you real, measurable results. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll really nail down the core problem with strategy execution. Then we'll introduce this powerful solution, BSC Focus Plus. We'll break down its key components, and we'll wrap up with some super practical advice for leaders who actually want to put this into action. All right, let's jump right in. You know, any leader will tell you that coming up with a smart strategy, well, that's just the starting line. The real hard part, the thing that keeps people up at night, is translating that plan into reality, into the daily grind of the business. That's the classic and, frankly, very expensive strategy to execution gap. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? A beautiful, well-thought-out strategy that just sits in a binder in the boardroom, it's useless. It might make the leadership team feel good, like they've done their job, but it won't move the company forward one single inch. At the end of the day, execution is really all that matters. You know, for a long, long time, the balanced scorecard, the BSC, was the absolute gold standard for solving this problem. It was a total game changer back in the day, and it helped tons of companies turn those big, ambitious plans into things they could actually do and measure. But things have changed. Just look at this data from Bain & Company. It tells a pretty clear story. The traditional BSC, for all its past success, has been losing ground. I mean, look at that drop. In just 2 years, it went from being the sixth most popular management tool all the way down to 14th, and that decline has just kept on going. And this created what's being called a strategic vacuum. See, what happened is agile methods took over, which is great for getting stuff done fast and being operationally efficient. But here's the hidden danger. Teams get so focused on the next sprint, the next task, that they can totally lose sight of the big picture. They get strategic myopia. They're winning battles, but might be losing the war. So that brings us to the big question, right? How do you keep that amazing operational speed without losing your strategic direction? How do you get the best of both worlds? Well, that is exactly the problem that BSC Focus Plus was created to solve. It's a modern system designed to fill that strategic vacuum. And at its core, you've got to understand this is way more than just a simple update. BSC Focus Plus Air is a complete end-to-end framework. It covers the entire strategic process, from the very first idea all the way to agile execution. And it does it all with one ultimate goal in mind: maximizing long-term value. So how does it pull this off? Well, it really comes down to two big contributions that we're about to unpack. First, it builds this incredibly solid, integrated structure based on something called the 3 strategic links. And second, it totally revamps the old scorecard with 4 new powerful assumptions that are just essential for business today. Okay, so let's start with that foundation. You can't build a great strategy on shaky ground. In this methodology, the structure is built on these 3 strategic links. And the whole point is to make sure everything is perfectly aligned before you even think about executing the plan. It all kicks off with architecture. Now, this is a cool idea. It's about defining the different chess games your company is playing. They call these your strategic units. It's not about departments, it's about the distinct arenas where you compete. Think a specific product line or a market segment. Then comes planning. This is where each one of those strategic units gets its own custom mission and plan. And only then, once all that is said, do you move to management, where you use the modernized scorecard to actually execute the plan for each unit. Okay, now for the really fascinating part: how BSC Focus Plus totally modernizes the scorecard itself. This is where it really leaves the old model behind. It's built on 4 new assumptions that are absolutely critical if you want to succeed in today's business world. Think of these 4 assumptions as the engine that powers the whole system. They're what make it so effective, so relevant in today's constantly changing landscape. Let's take a quick look at each one. The first assumption is a massive, and I mean massive, shift in mindset. The number one goal is not hitting this quarter's profit target. No, it's about maximizing long-term value. Why is that so important? Because focusing only on short-term profit can make you do things that look good now, but basically mortgage your company's future. When you use a metric like discounted projected free cash flow, you're forced to think about the long-term health of the business. The second assumption is called toolbox management. And honestly, this is just plain smart. The idea is that the balanced scorecard is the strategic spine that connects everything. But, and this is key, it doesn't try to do everything. Instead, it integrates with all the other specialized tools you already use, like your CRM for customers or your SCM for supply chain. It's about using the absolute best tool for each job, all while keeping them aligned to that central strategy. And that brings us to the third assumption, which is all about making things simple and clear. See, the old BSC had two different documents. You had a matrix with all your indicators, and then you had a strategic map. BSC Focusplus does something brilliant. It combines them into one single clean document, the Unified Strategic Roadmap. This makes it so much easier to see the direct line from your big picture goals to the metrics you use to track them. It makes the whole strategy way easier to communicate and manage. And number 4, the final assumption, is strategic agility. And let's be honest, in the world we live in today, this isn't optional. But we're not just talking about being flexible. This is about building actual formal processes, institutionalizing them so you can constantly get market feedback, test ideas, and adapt your roadmap on the fly. Your strategy can't be a stone tablet you write once a year anymore. It has to be a living, breathing thing. So, okay, this all sounds great in theory, but we all know that a great system is useless if it's not implemented correctly. So to help with that, the BSC Focusplus methodology actually lays out the most common traps that leaders fall into, giving you a really valuable playbook of what not to do. First up, during the design phase, here are the big mistakes. Don't fall into the one-size-fits-all trap by using one scorecard for the whole company. Don't design it around your existing departments. Design it around those strategic units we talked about. And please, don't just jump into making a scorecard without a solid strategic plan first. And maybe most important, involve your employees. If you don't, they'll never feel any ownership over it. And the pitfalls don't stop there. When it's time to actually implement, make sure the person leading the charge has real authority, real political weight. Make sure you tie employee incentives directly to the scorecard's goals, because what gets rewarded gets done. You have to make monitoring a regular, disciplined meeting, not just a one-off. And for heaven's sakes, use the right tech. Don't try to run this for a huge corporation on a spreadsheet. So, if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. BSC Focusplus isn't just a new dashboard or an update. It's a complete, top-to-bottom modern system for actually managing strategy in a really complex world, all the way from architecture and planning down to agile execution. So we'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. Take a hard look at your own company. Is your strategy process built to just react to the challenges of today? Or is it truly designed to create real, lasting, compounding value for tomorrow?